Hi everyone, this is Stephanie Mullen here, and I'm presenting my final project, which is Children as Authors and Artists. The subtitle is Literacy and the Arts Publishing Unit Plan, and I've often called this my publishing company as well. This has been something I've envisioned since I wrote my essay to be admitted into grad school. So this plan has finally come to fruition after quite some time of developing it and working through the coursework for this degree program. So this started by asking an essential question, which is how can we as educators encourage kids to become more passionate about the process of reading and writing? We know how important it is for kids to be reading and writing. And I remember in my paper that I wrote to be admitted into the program that it's a lot like teaching kids how to cook so that they'll be better eaters. I feel like if you teach them how to read and write, and then also accompany those readings and writings with illustrations, that they'll become more passionate about reading because they're going to be the meaning makers. So this project is allowing them to have a different practice site for reading and writing besides their normal classroom. And being able to perform those tasks in art class will extend their learning and help just create a positive atmosphere for literacy in an early elementary setting. I included a little picture of my elementary building here, Lincoln Street School. I've worked here my whole entire career. This will be my end of my fourth year. And our building serves pre-K to first grade. We have about 330 students, and they strive, one of our building's major goals is to establish a strong literacy foundation for future learning in higher grades. So we want them reading at grade level in first grade by the time they leave our building. So when they hit second grade in the next building in our district, they're proficient. My building, my school also believes in and supports a vibrant arts curriculum. So I feel like I have the flexibility to implement this publishing company because I've been given the latitude within my program to do so. So the images that accompany this slide are actual books that I wrote as a child when I was in elementary school. And it's always been something that I remember as a positive interaction with literacy in my early elementary years. So this publishing company is born out of the memories and the physical artifacts of when I was a child. So I have these books and I'm able to leaf through them and read the words that I wrote and look at the drawings that I did and just remember so fondly that entire experience of being a small child and being given the gift of being able to be the author myself. Um, so this project, as I said in the slide, is directly inspired by those books, and I hope to allow my students to create these artifacts for themselves as well. This is my curriculum map, my unit map. I call it a unit because in my structure of teaching, it should take approximately five what I call meetings, 5 or 6 sessions or classroom periods. So I broke it down in this slide based on the standards that you see here and then the activities associated with each standard and a potential assessment for each standard. And these I can statements that I've included here are actually what I share with my students in the beginning of each lesson. So that helps guide my teaching and it helps guide their learning. And that way they can stay on track. So like at meeting one, for example, today I can, they'll know that they're going to talk about what an author wants them to know, feel, or see when they write and illustrate a story. And we can unpack all of the vocabulary of that learning target for that lesson. We can talk about who is the author, what is an illustration, and really start at the beginning of exploring what books are all about and how they function. And then tying it back to the standards here, you see that I've done that for all the different activities. So that's really important that I base this unit within the New York State visual arts standards and make sure that the work that I'm doing daily with my students is grounded in each of those individual standards. I included this conceptual framework slide from New York State's website because it's important to see how they've broke down art activities into these different categories like creating, performing the PERS, performing, presenting, producing, and then responding and connecting. And these are sort of the frameworks that we want to be thinking about as art teachers while we ask our students to do different tasks. And this activity really hits on a lot of these markers. And I know in my building especially, we're encouraging kids to work, but then, well, to plan, then work, then revise, and then work again, so that they are thinking about how to improve their work and make it better. And then at the end, the culmination portion is so important, that they're sharing and talking about what they did so that they can demonstrate their learning for us. Um, in this slide, I have an evaluation rubric where I plan on evaluating myself and my teaching and the curriculum itself. And this will be done upon the completion of each unit. I want to make sure that I'm striving to keep my teaching up to standards and updated as necessary. And then this is just your references for the images that I used in the slides. So I wanted to thank you guys for taking the time to sort of listen to my project. I know it's sort of all I've talked about through this entire um, grad school process, but it's really important to see it to fruition. And I'm just so excited to finally be able to map it out and share it with others. And if you have any, constructive comments, I would love to hear them. And I've really appreciated working with all of you. So thank you so much.